I started Marin Wealth almost 2 years ago. I've been in the financial services profession for around 12 years, give or take, just basically catering for Spanish speakers here in Brisbane. There was a big need for it, and there was just nobody who can provide that advice really, or that cultural background. So that's when Marin Wealth started. We started with just myself. I started the business from zero, no clients, no farm, nothing. We didn't purchase anything. So it was a very organic growth, and therefore the need for support staff came as I left my previous firm. So I was a business within a business. So I had support staff that we shared. Back then it was physical staff, so they were in the office. So when I left, it was on myself. So I took all the clients, I just basically removed myself from the brand and established my new brand. Basically, I started myself, then I hired an associate, then we had a power planner, and then that's when the need for a support staff came on board. The biggest issue was spacing. So we deal out of WeWorks, so it's very flexible, but at the same time it isn't. Because when we need some sort of space, and that's technically what happened, they offered me a space where I can get a physical support staff, and that deal fell through. Apparently, I signed the deal and everything, but they just apparently offered it to someone else at first, and whatever the reason was, like, you know what? That's when the idea came from a friend that basically said you should think about a VA. And that's when you guys were introduced to me, and obviously the rest is history. It was one of the referral partners we have. So Daniel Ward, he is a mortgage broker who's also very similar to myself, started his own firm. And he basically mentioned, look, I have these two staff that work for me, and they're amazing. And obviously that kind of went, okay, based on my trust in his word, I went through and we established a connection there. Yeah, so I guess it wasn't not even just the problem itself. It was the fact that our firm operates, everything is virtual. We don't have physical papers. We don't have anything. So for example, my associate worked in Japan and Korea in December because of the system we have. So you just need your pass. So technically VA for us, there's no difference. So it was very seamlessly integrated with us because everything is online. We don't deal with paper. We don't scan anything. It was not trying to solve the problem. It was more like it was just easier to integrate because of the spacing requirement we don't have. I was struggling to try and find a desk and a physical thing. So the VA kind of solved that problem. Technically, it was spacing, really. It was the physical desk. It's been amazing. This is day one. Obviously, meeting Alana was amazing, and the whole process has been fantastic. We obviously, to an extent, you have to have a certain amount of luck, even though luck is preparation and opportunity. Literally, that's the equation. You get more luck with preparation and opportunity, and that's where you guys came in. You were prepared, and the opportunity presented that Fernando, who happened to be at the same time that we were looking, were matched with us. So we did interview a couple, and obviously Fernando was a standout immediately due to his background, due to himself and his work ethics. And it's been an absolute game changer for us because we did have, at least Carlos had experience with VA before, and it was not favorable. I was just more open-minded because I'd never had an experience with a VA before. So I was just more like, it's just another person. It just happens to be not in our office, but it's the same. Because from the flexibility I wanted in our firm, that you can work from anywhere in the world as long as you have internet, that's what I was more open-minded, and clearly paid off because it's been a game changer for us. He can be in front of, especially from the same timeline. So if we have the same, it's only an hour difference. For us, it's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. It's incredibly important because the HR component of a small firm, it all relies on me. So having someone that basically deals with that part, because yes, Fernando is not with us physically, but he is with us. So he also needs someone to help them, that onboarding piece, everything that's like because I've done it myself in another firm that I needed to get onboarded and I needed to get trained and I needed all that time absorbed by someone else. That was the best part of you guys, where I just didn't do anything. You guys told me this is the metrics, this is what he needs done, and these are all the training. It's like sick. And that's all I needed. And it really helped me do what I need to do, which is my job, and just deal with Fernando on a more business capacity rather than HR. It's an absolute game changer. We have massively blown out of the water with Fernando coming in. Again, I'm going to quote a lot of luck because it was preparation and opportunity. We were both prepared. So as us, we were very prepared. We knew what we needed. We clear goals were at the front of, and we knew exactly what we needed from Fernando. So that made the integration of him much easier. But also on your side, you also were prepared, and the opportunity happened that it's just, he was there at the right time. I was here at the right time. So I think from both sides, luck would play a big part in regards to how we prepare and the opportunity presents itself. We have basically, I cannot explain, I've actually spoken about it this morning around how I think we're peaking at efficiency. Like we have never been this efficient before. We wanted to be here in regards to the amount of scalability that we can do with everything. So with the VA, or with Fernando, was this is what I need. And basically, this is how you can do it. Or even himself did it himself. And he just needed some feedback around, is this the right thing? I can give you 1,000 real life scenarios where I went, look, we needed a Excel spreadsheet so we can track all the onboarding of everyone. And from point 1 to point Z, we had something, but not on steroids. So he created that for us. So that was the vision. Like I needed to overview every single human who was coming, why, where, what part of the stage they were at, and that all of us get access to that file, because obviously we use a SharePoint, which is, it's all online, so you can use it anywhere. So that he was able to create it, he branded it, I gave him the branding guidelines, and he's been able to just save us time, and those small, I guess, tasks that they all get put down the bottom line because you just don't have time. I guess that's, if I gather them all, it's been a huge change for us. So that's why we've been very efficient at the moment. I think where I've seen some others versus us fail is having unrealistic expectations, where it usually starts with yourself. If you're organized enough, if you have clear goals, if you have a robust process, you are most likely to succeed in the integration of a VA, because then they can just seamlessly just integrate into your process. Whereas if you don't have a process, if you don't have clear goals, if you don't know what you want from them, even though you may, but it's not clear enough, I think that's the biggest hurdle I've seen others have with VAs, where they think a VA is coming to save the day, and it could. Obviously, I'm not saying it won't, but if you don't, obviously, you guys are pretty good as well at, kind of delineing what are the KPIs, what are his needs, that's amazing. But also because we were just able to, Fernando, this is what we need, this is how, and this is the time frame, and also again, luck is a part of it. That Fernando's just amazing. Like, he's just an absolute game changer. So I guess my advice is be very organized, be very clear on what you want, and the likeliness of success is much higher. Yes, so as part of the integration with Fernando, we have changed a little bit of our outlook in HR in the growth component of our business. So the organizational chart that we had in mind may have tilted a little bit towards VAs because of how we integrate our technology and how seamless it was Fernando to come in. So the idea at the beginning of this journey was to have pods of advisors with support staff behind them, one support staff being administration, the other one being a junior advisor that would grow into a more senior role. And that was basically the deal. And then probably one support staff to help either two pods, etc. Now that support staff was supposedly in person. Okay, that was the idea. Whereas now the growth that we're going, so we are going to hire another advisor this year. And therefore the idea is to get a VA first, get our current VA to train that person. So less time consuming for me. They're most likely in the same place. So they're probably already going to take very little time from us, let alone the continuing training that person will require. So that's probably our journey, getting a VA first, probably a couple of months in, and then an advisor will join, and that person can just basically start raising revenue from day one because they had their support staff's already trained in our systems. Oh, I think it's good that, or I guess our concern with a VA was that we didn't want them to feel alone. That was our main, because we're very pro your mind and yourself comes first, then the business goes second. Like we always, like, you and yourself and your person, whether you're here, whether you're in the Philippines, whatever you are. So that our approach was like, man, let's make sure that Fernando doesn't feel alone, that we can try and meet as much as we can with him. So I think that was mitigated by the fact that he had someone over there too. So he was with a team, that he felt like there's always someone around him. That made our life easier. So that even if we weren't able to talk to him twice a day, we're like, okay, great. He at least gets someone around him so he doesn't feel like he's on his own, so he's part of a bigger team. I think that's my 2 cents on making sure that he's attended, that he's got everyone, even not just from a mental point of view, but like physical, like his safety, that he gets a great life. It's what we wanted. So I feel personally that was very well taken care of with what you guys offered. So yeah, that's my 2 cents.